Okay, this is a podcast for September 8th, 2024. I'm Don Keeper Swelton with
Kevin, call sign Rebel.
uh, what we're going to be talking about today is the apparent downturn of fields and airsoft in general. We've seen some paintball fields stop doing airsoft, uh, some airsoft fields close, and an indoor location actually closed as well. So, what are your thoughts, Kevin?
Uh, after talking to Tim and EMR and everything, and understanding how the business end works, uh, I know it's gonna be a very unpopular thing to say, but the reason paintball fields are doing so much better is because paintball fields are selling paint, or they're selling the ammo, so they're making a little bit more than just the entry fee. So you get the entry fee, then you get your paint, and air's what, always free. Usually wherever you go, air is usually free.
Yes.
So, which that's good, especially people at HBA. But I honestly think if the fields need to make a turnaround, is they gotta start selling their own ammo. And I know it's very unpopular. I know people like certain weights, this or that. But maybe there's a thing where you pay the entry fee, then you pay for ammo. Then after that, you buy ammo after that. But then if you bring your own, like how I use 4.3s. I don't have to, but I prefer it.
Yeah.
But if we use our own, I think that should be extra. Like the entry fee is extra, or more to the entry fee.
Well, if you think about paintball, a lot of times when they have a paintball open play, like if people aren't renting something, that's an
Yeah.
extra cost.
Yeah.
They actually got to buy the paint there.
Yeah.
They got to buy a box of paint for an open play.
Yeah.
And like he does rent like stuff. So if you're coming there for the first time, you're getting a marker, a mask, a jumpsuit, and you're getting a box of paint. So
Yeah.
they are buying the ammo for the day. Now, if he was renting, if a place is renting a mask, replica mags, they could actually have a preset amount of BBs that comes in with the rental. I'm like, that would make sense.
Well, yeah, but also too, do the same thing. Like you pay your $20 entry, then you get a bottle of BBs.
Yep. Now,
and after that, you got to buy their BBs, like you got to do with their paint.
Now, one of the things I saw in a video the other day, and I actually contacted the guy, he hasn't got back to me yet, is Fox Airsoft has a field. It's FAF, Fox Airsoft Field, which is funny. Yeah. They also have a store, which actually helps too, having a store with the airsoft field. But because they have regulars, they sell an armband that's reversible, blue and red.
Yeah.
Okay, and they make you buy this for the day.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what the cost is. And you have two options. You can buy the reversible armband or the reversible big barrel bag. And the barrel bag can turn inside out and it's red or blue. And you hang it around your neck, put it on the gun or whatever, and that shows the team you're on, red or blue. But he requires you to have one or the other, which you have to purchase. Now, purchasing a barrel bag, that makes sense because you got to have one on your gun.
Yeah.
Purchasing an armband, you can always use it somewhere else that uses like red or blue to designate teams. So it can be used at other locations.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Having to buy an armband or a barrel bag to use on the field?
I could see it being like, let's we're just making up a number here. So let's just say entry fee, the play is $25. Okay. So at the end of the day, if you return your armband, you get your $5 back. I think that could work instead of actually buying it. You could rent it for the day, and if you lose it or damage it, guess what? It's yours, or you just what I mean. So you just bought it, so they don't lose any money on it. They can order more, and it won't harm them.
Now, this is a really large barrel bag. I mean, it was huge. Yeah. And Tippmann has the big barrel bags. They're like $7-8.
Yeah.
So even if they charge 10 and they get it back, you don't really lose any money. But if someone keeps it, then you're ahead.
Yeah.
I could see that for the armband too, like you're saying, if they return it. But I think the whole idea behind this, he said he had a lot of regulars, so they keep the armband, they bring it with them.
Oh, yeah.
This way they can just, like we have the little red and blue and green and all different color, like little
tourniquets.
Tourniquet kits that we put on our arms and instead of having them tape us.
Yeah.
That's one way he's making money on the airsoft but the thing of it is, he has a store alongside the field, so he already can sell BBs, replicas, gas, you name it, he can do that. But a paintball place, they can provide air, they can have a rental mask if they have rental airsoft guns, fine. If not, they're only renting masks and or nothing. They're just like got a fee that they can charge. So they're only making that set amount on a player. They're not making the extra that they would normally make on a paintball player, that would need more paint, that would need more this, that, the other thing.
Yeah.
Now,
that's what I said with the BBs, I think that would be the way to go.
BBs and gas. Some people would like that because that was a big seller at the indoor arena we had. The guy had bottles of gas and .25s. He had a ton of 25. Everybody was buying a bottle of BBs, bottle of gas because they had pistols they were using.
Yeah.
Now, I could see that being a good thing or a bad thing, but you have paintball places that were doing airsoft that stopped. There's 2 in Ohio that a guy was telling me about, and I'm like, that's horrible. And just as a rumor, I don't want to say the name of the field. There's an airsoft field that might be ending airsoft and paintball altogether starting next year. That would be a real shame because it's our go-to field.
Absolutely.
But
again, it's like, paintball is like what, almost like $100 to play or something like that.
Well, you got $20 for the paint, about $20 to $25 for the box of paint, and then you figure $20 to $25 to rent if you got your own equipment. If you don't, there's another $25 to $50 on top of that. So at least $75 to $100 he's making on every paintball player that comes in there. That doesn't. That if they rent, it's more. If they only just get paint and their admission, it's like $50. He's still making, but he's still making more money.
Yeah, with airsoft, it's usually like $20 to $30. A person.
Yeah.
And everybody brings their own stuff.
Right.
So it's like, yes, you're going there to play the game, but also too, you're not making any money besides the person itself. So if you start selling some of this stuff, or they have to buy it, then either you might lose more business, or you might gain more business because then everyone is playing by the same rules. Like it's these BBs or nothing.
I noticed that a lot of these places that have a store integrated or right next to like the location, and there's a local field up in New York here that I've gone to. I know you haven't gone to it. They have their staging area is right in front of this airsoft store.
Yeah.
So you can walk in, buy a replica, buy BBs, gas, gear, you name it, they got it. But they're also online. They can sell online. Okay. And they also have another branch that does events. So they're all part together there. So not only can they make money on the airsoft on the field, but they can make it in the store and they can make it selling tickets to their events. I think that's what the paintball places, I don't think they see that opportunity.
Yeah, like I think that's where a lot of people need to find a local group that knows how to play the game and have them help put on games, like ideas, like almost like what we're doing with Oops.
Mm-hmm.
We work with, we start out as just players at EMR, and we start talking to Tim and throwing out ideas. We help them and all this stuff. And now look at us, we're running open plays. So I think if you get good local teams to help you, I think that it'll push it further.
Well, I look at one location we used to go to. Well, I went to. I don't know if you ever went to Linglestown with me. Did you?
No. Wait, Linglestown. Yeah,
we went there. And the original place that owned it, they had a guy that was running their airsoft games. He
Yeah.
had some really cool games, but they only had airsoft once a month. Well, they sold the place to a bigger like franchise place that I call it, and now they're having airsoft every Saturday and Sunday. They went out and they got HBA rental guns, you
Yeah.
know, and they have gear and they have airsoft every weekend. But they
Yeah.
actually have a store there that actually can sell BBs, fill up your airsoft, rental guns, you, pistols and replicas you can buy. So there
Yeah.
they've changed by embracing it. And they also have paintball the same time they have airsoft. So you'll
Yeah.
see guys on the paintball field over on one side, and the airsoft guys are in the field
Yeah.
across the way. And then they'll rotate and maybe go into where the paintball guys are playing.
Yeah, like, or you'll be walking to the next field, and there'll be people playing paintball, and you're getting hit by paint as you're walking by, and vice versa. When paintball players get hit with BBs,
Well,
but
that's like he has in the one spot. If you remember, they had the big mesh gate that you had to go through. And once you
yeah,
went through the gate, you had to have your mask on all the
not
time.
everybody did.
Yeah,
Not even the people working there had their masks on.
yeah. Well, that always amazed me that like paintball guys would always have like a. They said, "Okay, make sure you put your barrel bags on. Oh, we can take our masks off now." And I'm like, "No, no, no, no.
Yeah,
You don't do that. Nope, 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 nope."
yeah.
So,
Because I remember when we went there, they did that. Me and you just looked at each other like, nope.
I ain't losing my eyes.
And they're like, some of them were like, why don't you take your stuff on? I said, because you can shoot through your barrel bag.
Yeah, it's not
Why
like
should
a
I have, like, a
paintball
leather
that'll explode
piece
when
in
it
there?
hits that bag.
Yeah,
And you got to remember too, like some of the Titman bags and like a bunch of the old bags that you got, they had a double material and even some
yeah.
vinyl or something in the bottom
Like,
that made them hard. These ones they're buying for airsoft are like two pieces of cloth just double
not
sewed
even.
on the bottom.
Not even.
Yeah, and our guns are shooting a little BB at close to 400 FPS,
Yeah.
and sometimes it goes right through that bag like nobody's business.
Yep.
And
I know
they
one-
weren't
I know
telling them
one
to
barrel
unload the
bag has a
mags or
piece of leather
anything.
in it.
They left the mags in. They didn't include the barrels. Just
Yeah.
put the barrel bag on. Now you can take your goggles off. No, 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 no.
No.
We don't do that.
No.
But that's a thing where, like, me and you, informed a lot of people at the current place we play at a lot
Yeah.
that no, that's a no go. We don't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Nobody should do that, even the refs. And they don't do it anymore. So,
because I know we remember showing proof because people did that. And I remember somebody was actually fired. Like we just got on the field, people were test firing, and somebody was shooting through their barrel bag.
mm-hmm.
And I remember pointing at the ref. I'm like, "Hey guys, look at this." He goes, "He has a bag on, right?" He goes, "Yeah, go ahead, shoot." He goes, "What the heck?" I said, "That's why we don't do that."
That's why mags out, clear the barrel, then put the
Yep.
barrel bag on.
Yep.
Unless you have a really good barrel bag, like a Tipman, Crossman, a couple different brands, Warrior, there's Wolf Armories. They're made double sewn with the
Yep.
little leather piece or vinyl in the bottom. You can shoot through 90% of those barrel bags that you buy on like
Yeah.
Amazon or eBay. Unless it's
That-
a good
that-
brand
that's
that's
just like the
made
fabric.
well, nah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big thing that I've seen a lot on the fields now anymore, where you go to, and the airsoft fields have started doing a lot of it too. Is keeping actually telling people they got to have a barrel bag on.
Yeah.
Got to take the mags out. Got to clear the barrel. I'm like, they're getting a little more safety conscious. I was hoping they'd be doing that a long time before you have to mention something to a ref or somebody like
Well,
that.
You got to remember, a lot of the refs were just paintballers.
Yeah, and and
So,
their distances were hilarious. I remember when we went to the one place up in the Poconos where we start and it's like we're 75 feet apart and it's like, we could shoot that far. And when I showed the guy the pistol I was using and it's shooting like a string and I can shoot the barrier right next to the guy, and I said, I haven't moved. I said they had no concept of what was going on.
I remember the one place we went to, I remember saying that we ain't gonna fill her away. They're like, why is that? I said, hold on. Like, we called one of our teammates. I said, do me a favor, call it when you get hit. He's like, okay. And like, we were on the field, of course, so we all had our eye for a long. He shot him, and then he raised his hand. I said, like, that's why we got to get further away, because I could reach across the field.
Now, it's funny, that particular location in the Poconos, they finally got it in their head that, yeah, the airsoft guys can use the big castle that the paintball guys use, the big
Yeah.
long fields. They need
I just
bigger
wish we used that.
distances. You know, it
I wish-
took forever to try to convince them that that was acceptable to do.
Like when we went back there and took and looked, I seen a lot of spots where I could sit and just go to town on them. But we just never got back there.
See, they're looking at like 100-foot maximum, like a paintball speedball field.
Yeah.
We're looking at 200, 300 feet as a way to move around and shoot at each other.
Yeah.
They're not in that mindset.
No.
Now, woods
Like
ball,
the field we were on was terrible.
it was kind of small, yeah.
Oh.
Now, a woods ball, a place that's more into like woods ball, that's the what I would call more the airsoft equivalent of paintball, where you
Yeah.
have to have a little strategy, you get bigger distances, stuff like that. You're moving in the woods around a big area. A lot of these places that we were at don't have that.
Well, no, because they're just paintball fields.
Yeah, they don't really get into that aspect.
For airsoft needs 2 paintball fields to play 1 game.
Yes.
And again, like the paintballers don't know that. They never played, and you can't hold that against them.
I remember they had this field set up for airsoft. That was going to be for airsoft. All the rest is paintball. And I'm like, this is little, this field. It's not big enough for more than like 10 people, 5 versus 5. You know, you get like 20 people on there, 10 versus 10, and you're like falling all over each other because you're right on top of each other. So they had a field like it was shaped like an L. And the back part of the L, that was supposed to be for paintball only. I said, how about we start one team back there by the L, backside of the L, and the other team way over here. Wow, that's so far. I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And he didn't understand when we didn't want to go up the pass. We wanted to go through the woods to shoot at people. And he's like, why aren't people on the path? I'm like, why would we want to run up a path where you get jet shot when you get sneak through the woods alongside the creek here and climb this little hill and shoot at people? He didn't understand that. Like, why did people want to get in the woods?
It's time to put these paths in and nobody's using them. Well, we use them when we walk out there.
Yeah, that's true.
But as soon as we play, those paths don't exist to us anymore.
So one of the things that I'm seeing, and I'm going to use our team as an example. We have a lot of older players, myself included. There's 5 of us that are over 60 on here. So we are slowly phasing out. Okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't play anymore. I still take pictures and stuff like that. I handle a lot of stuff for the squad, but I'm not going out there playing because I have a lot of physical and mental, medical I meant to say, but mental is more like it too. Injuries. So we are looking to try and get some more members, and we're not seeing a lot of people get involved in airsoft anymore. I was telling Rebel right before we started recording, there's a guy 3 hours away was asking about our team, and I just didn't understand that why he couldn't find something close in his area. I gave him a couple of suggestions, like like go to a paintball field, ask about airsoft there, go to a sporting goods and maybe put up a flyer there saying look for airsoft. I actually gave this guy a bunch of the links for Facebook airsoft groups.
Yeah.
So I'm like, he could ask that I live here in this area. I'm looking for other players. There's 2 of us. We want to get a group together. There, that's all you got to do. And I'm guaranteeing you could probably find people within an hour of your area.
All right. Like that's what we all did when we first started.
Yeah.
Just word of mouth.
And I know that our group has people that are like 15 minutes away, like you, and there's about a handful of others like that. But we also have guys that are 45 minutes away, an hour away, and we have 3 guys that are almost 2 hours away, and they make the trek every month.
Yeah.
Because they like coming out and having a good time. And like the one guy said, he's got a couple of kids. His wife said, you can do one thing a month for airsoft. So that's what he does. He comes out to our field for that
again, it's
one
just,
Saturday every month.
yeah, again, it's just the people that you surround yourself with. Like
Yeah.
if you find a good bunch of people that is just there to have a good time, have the same same goals really,
Yeah.
and it's just it's fun. Like you just want to go have fun, talk to new friends, make new friends, and just have a blast.
Now I notice, in keeping with basically the topic a little bit, I noticed a lot of people have been getting sour on some of the events that have come up
Oh yeah,
recently. They've gone to the events, negative comments all across the board, not particularly for the field it was held at, but
no,
for the type of gameplay
and people running it.
and the people running it.
Yeah.
Now, that if the negativity, is happening for more than one of their events, that seems to me that it might be the event organizer rather than the fields they're going to, because it wasn't at one particular location, it was at
No.
three particular locations.
Again, like all the games that are happening are paintball fields, so there's not a lot of cover going from point A to point B. So like you're not blaming the event staff on that because of it's a paintball field.
Yeah, but see,
So
the thing of it is too, and I've seen this like for the various events that we went to, it seems like they're like just falling back on the old TDM, like team deathmatch.
yeah,
Everybody shoots at everybody, and I'm
or
like, there's no
capture
objectives, there's no
capture
like
capture flags, all
now.
that stuff.
I've never been to a couple. There are a couple other organizers in the area.
Yes.
I've heard really good things about one, and I've heard fair things about another one, except the biggest thing that I hear was the price was very expensive for the amount of gameplay time they had.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I did talk to a couple of people about this, and they were all gung ho about it. They want more, and I'm trying to not say this word, but I'm probably going to have to. They want more LARP type events where there are non-player characters or an overall engrossing story that you're part of.
More engagement.
Yes.
But not just firefighting, just
there has to be a theme with a main mission or missions, and then submissions, and maybe even non-player characters to move the gameplay along. On maybe a third team that interacts with both the other teams that can move the gameplay one way or the other if one team's getting ahead of the other. And I think that's the big thing. You'll get one side just overruns another side, and the promoters see this and they don't do anything. And that really puts a bad taste in the one team's mind.
Absolutely.
And they don't want to come back because they said, oh, we just got overrun. We're talking to the refs and the promoter, and it's like they didn't seem to care.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. Like, maybe I'm old school, but some of the old events I used to go to at a location called CNC Airsoft down in New Jersey, they would have two teams, and it was usually green and tan, like normally, and they would tape one team or both the color that you were. So usually if you're on a green team, you might even get green tape on you as well.
Yeah.
Didn't matter about camo because you were getting taped. But anyway, they had a third team, and they basically interacted with the main promoter that was running a game, who would call us up and say to our third team, which was the Patriots in Outer Heaven, was two of our teams. There's about 22 of us. Okay, 10 is overrunning green, so next time you get a green mission, wipe them out.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, where the people in charge are seeing that it's getting lopsided, so let's turn the tables on the team that's really wrecking the other team and try and get a little bit more even.
Yeah, you're balancing out.
Yeah, and I'm like, sure, we might have wrecked the green team, and then they come back and kill all of us, and then the 10 gets even with them again, and they keep the gameplay. It kept the points to like really close, which really made the game more intense, in my opinion. We weren't, as a third team, we weren't getting points. We were just there to harass people.
Yeah, you're balancing it out. That's all.
Yeah, and I think that is the big thing you're looking for, is to just get that aspect back in there that the game promoter looks at the team and says, okay, the refs are telling me that Tan has got 12 out of the 16 objectives already. We got to do something for the other team.
Yeah.
Because they're getting demoralized and they're stopping playing. People sitting at spawn, people quitting and going home. And that's the biggest thing. If you're so demoralized because the other team is just overrunning you, okay, you're going to say, yeah, they don't seem to give a shit about us. You know, I'm going home. I'm calling it good. I ain't ever coming back to one of these games or any that they run anymore, which has happened to us. Our team as a whole has said, that's it. We're not going to any more of their games.
Well, the biggest problem is like, especially this one organizer, they won't change nothing. They won't improve on nothing. They just stick to their formula, and that's it. Like, they don't care about the people. They don't care about the players.
Mm-hmm.
It's, oh, this is how it's going to be, no matter what. It's like, why? Like, I think the best thing to do is acknowledge the failures, admit to your failures, and try to improve on it. Like, kind of, yeah, you can't listen to everybody. I get that. But at least listen, ask questions, you know, take a step back and, like, where am I messing up at?
No.
We're doing that with oops. Like, last time we did this, we failed at a couple places.
Yeah.
And, you know, we sat back and, like, okay, what did we do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Where can we improve? And I believe we improved. Well, we'll find out in October.
Yeah.
But I think we improved some of the areas, some of the gameplay, and we even talked about how to try to balance the teams out with the players we know, because that could change the whole dynamic too. I know this is slightly different. Well, this is way different than big events, but at least we can help try to balance that balancing act.
What I've seen too is it seems like they're going for numbers for financial reasons.
Yeah, that's all.
And not for gameplay. When you know, I understand someone says to me, oh, well, you know, you like them small games. I'm like, some of the best games that I went to had like 50 versus 50. We had a fantastic time. And, okay, you look at the field and say, okay, how many can they support? 100, 200, 300, 400?
Yeah.
Well, when I see some of these games, which on this one field, they had over 550 people, that was way too many people for that field.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but, you know, they said, oh, it can handle it. No, it couldn't. Because it just seemed like everybody was on top of each other and you couldn't move and do stuff. So,
and the organizer, again, that we were kind of leading to, they don't communicate with each other. Like, starting games, it's always one team that starts way before the other team. I'm like, how can you not, like, you know, yeah, you got radios. I understand distances there, but, you know, we solved that issue with our antennas.
Yeah, it's an easy fix.
And what's a part of the person in charge try to go to the middle of the field, or tries to balance both out, communicate with each other to make sure that everyone can hear you, then start the game. Like how we do.
Yeah.
I know we're not as far apart, but we still communicate and say, hey, you know, do you copy? Are you guys ready? Yeah, okay, let's do this.
I think one of the things too that, like, some of these big games, having 500-600 people or 800 people, if they have the field and they have the structures and they have it set up for that, it might work like a champ.
Yeah.
But the ones that I've seen with that many people in the locations that we've been, it don't work.
Oh.
They just have too many people. Now, granted, maybe if something was done different. Now, I know the one promoter, we haven't gone to any of his games, but everybody I talk to that have gone to his games, and there's this one gentleman that I deal with, Caleb Tucker Airsoft, he's gone to 3 of their events already, and he sings nothing but praises for him, but he limits his field use to 100, or player count, not field use, player count to 150 people. So that's 75 per side. That is his max, and once the tickets are sold, that's it. He doesn't open up 25 more spots or 50 more spots for this team.
Yeah.
There's 150 tickets. That's it. When they're
Yeah,
sold, they're sold. That's it. You don't get no more.
That would, like, to me, if you limit the tickets and you are putting on decent events, then you're gonna get people trying to get quicker at it. Yes, you're only gonna make X amount no matter what, but like it's the players that are playing, not
Yep.
the organizers.
Now, granted, you'll get a team that'll come in and bring like 25 people in on
Yeah.
a team, and they get on one side. That's fine. But when you get the one team filled, you have to say, okay, this team is filled. We're not opening any more spots for it. The only spot that's left is here. There's
Yeah.
22 more spots here. Fill this up. If we have to, we'll tape you to be the color that
Yeah.
they are. I'm like, you're playing. It doesn't matter if you're on one side or the other. If you definitely want to be with these guys, you should have got your tickets earlier.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but you have to limit the amount of people that you have.
Yeah.
That's just my mindset. But
The biggest thing is, well, limit the amount of players, but also balance your players.
yes,
Like you said before, like if people have to move, people have to move.
that one of the best things, and I've mentioned this before to you, and I think I've mentioned it online too, when we're doing videos, is we are on a team come in as digital subdued.
Yeah.
I might put a picture up here so you guys see what camo we have. But we used to go to these events and wear that on purpose so that when we get to the events, and there was like 12, 15 of us, they'd come up to us and say, hey, Tan's like less. They don't have enough people on their team. You know, they showed up with like 52 people. These guys got 75. Can you guys all go to green? Bang slam. We would go to green or tan or whatever color they needed us to. Tape us up. We're on that team. They'd say, oh, this team now is on green. This team here is now on tan. Never a problem for us. I don't see that in the games anymore.
No.
You're on the team. You want to stay on that team, even if it's like way lopsided.
Yeah, because people are like, oh, I spent all this money, you know, this, I want to be on my team with my friends, this and that. I don't know about you, well, I know about you, but when anywhere we went, you know, they put us on a team together, but then they go, hey guys, it's a little balance. When you go to the other side? And you and I always jumped at the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because we like looking at each other. And that's the best part about playing that, like with your team, is you shoot your friends and you just have a good time doing it.
Well, the last event where you were at, where you were on the sniper team with Doug Grinder, that was a 2-to-1. Tan had 2 times the many players at Green did. And I don't understand how they let the game continue when the sides were that lopsided. Yeah. There was no advantage to the green. So why would they let 300 people on green and 150 on tan, or wait a minute, 300 on tan and 150 people on green go in and have the sides so lopsided?
Yeah, well, the sides were lopsided. Our stuff didn't work.
Yes.
So
that's something else I'm going to talk about too.
Yeah, which
but like, go ahead.
For for that gameplay, which you know they do, honestly, they do that gameplay for every event they do. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yes.
It's always capture. They need to split it up.
Or do something else.
Well, I think that's a pretty good warm up to the day. They don't go to hard fights, but put a time limit on it.
Yes.
Hey, you got 2-3 hours to get this objective.
Then move on to something else.
Yeah, then you can do something about if there's 5 sections you can capture. Well, guess what? You capture whatever. That's your bases now. Now you have to go to this. Then you have to go to this base to get something. And this has to, it should be a different types of small missions.
I didn't see that at the last event we were at. I didn't see any major side missions.
Nothing.
They said there were. They said there were, but I'm like, I never saw them. I never heard about them.
What? Fighting the bombs, fighting the missiles or whatever. What kind of that's still not. That's not fun after a while.
And getting back to one thing that you mentioned, the skirmish app. Everybody is like gung ho about this, and I'm like, it is a good idea, but you have to look at the terrain you're in.
Yeah.
in the two locations we're at, it's very mountainous. It has very spotty cell phone service, which means however those apps are going to work, they're going to work Wi-Fi or whatever.
Yeah.
They have problems because of the interference in the area. There's mountains, they're in valleys, there's rocks, whatever. There's no cell service. I had no cell service at the one place we're at. So I'm
Yeah.
like, how could these apps work if they rely on wireless connection or whatever, if you can't normally get your cell phone to work?
Yeah.
And then they're talking about you have to go on your cell phone and put something in
Yeah.
that you were hit. I'm like, if I can't get on my cell phone to get the app, how am I going to put that stuff in?
Yeah.
And that means I got to carry a cell phone with me that could get shot. I'm like, no, mine was in the car, which
Yeah.
I think really it disheartened a lot of people that, like, I watched Green as a team take this town and was in there for so long, and they got no points because the
Well,
app wasn't working.
well, the worst part is you had to buy or rent the band for this. Like, why? Like, if you're paid and this is the objective, you should be getting that band.
Yeah.
That should be included in the price. So let's just say the event was like what, $75?
Yeah, it was $75 plus tax. So
Yeah. So let's just say it went to $80. So you bought, or however much it is, the wristband is. That should just be yours now because you paid for that.
and supposedly you were supposed to be able to use it at other games.
Multiple, yeah.
So I don't know how that works. If you bought on tan, and let's say the next time you're green, how do you switch that? I don't understand.
Well, each time you want to do it, you have to go rescan it in the very beginning so they know who's who.
Okay, so like,
Yeah.
see, I didn't see that aspect of it, but
Yeah.
I
they were
know I know
they were
people
doing
went up
that.
to the I know people went up to the unit and it never worked.
Because they asked everybody before the game even started, please, when you get to your spawn, please scan in and make sure it works. So then now the computer knows to collect it all. But again, when the greens weren't working, now I think the common sense would have done is stop the game, have everybody return, and explain to everybody, hey guys, listen, this is our fault. Something's not working. We have to reset. We're clear the board, and start over.
And
So
they had refs. Have a ref in there and time how long they're in.
yeah,
Green's in there 15 minutes. Tan took it over. Now they're in there for 35 minutes. Add up the total time that they're in a particular location. Each
Yeah.
ref could have done that.
yeah. But,
It's sure the electronics are nice, but if they're not working, what good are they?
Yeah. I don't know, but I just think you need more variety in events, not just one thing and that's it.
I know you have your capture the flag stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, we're trying cones. We have
What-
crates
that's
that
good
we're
for open
carrying.
play. Open plays, that stuff is great
Yes.
because it's only a limited time game, and that's it. But if you're doing a marathon, like 8 hours or sometimes 16-hour games, you need more variety.
Yes.
And I know you and I are talking of what we could do, and we have all different ideas. Well, I got a lot of crazy, stupid ideas, but
I think the biggest thing too is, like, a lot of the people only have seen, the newer players have only seen the type of events that are being run in our area. And when I say our area, we're in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So like the New York area, New Jersey area, Pennsylvania West, like even all the way out to Ohio. That's our area where the events are being held that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And they've only seen these type of events and how they're run. So they probably haven't seen some of the events that have like more of a character driven like aspect to them or something.
Well, they're probably looking at YouTube at events, and they're seeing these bigger events that has NPCs. Like I was seeing one, I think it was Swamp Sniper, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Where like he'll go to a section, and there's some guy sitting there. Hey, do you know the mayor? He's over in this area. If you deliver this to him, he'll give you something back. Then you got to bring it back to me. Then I'll pay like whatever. And don't get me wrong, I would love to do that. Like that would look like a blast trying to make it all the way from point A to point B without getting hurt or like getting killed and back or whatever. That would be a blast.
I miss the Fallout style games that I used to go to.
Yeah.
Like I went to like at least half a dozen of them when they were being done. I actually was a non-player character in one, which was a blast.
Yeah.
Okay, just walking around, and I would have information. Whether it was good or bad was up to you to decide. You know,
Yeah.
if you shot me, you didn't get nothing. If you helped me out, I give you information. But it doesn't necessarily mean it was good information, but it was
Yeah.
information. And like I would hand this stuff out, and the refs would call me and say, "Don, we need you to tell them to do this."
Yeah.
That might be good, or that might be bad, leading them into a trap. You know, that was the whole idea behind this. And like, you know, it was to your advantage to try to help me around or
Yeah.
keep me from the other team, so I would have information for you, but it might not be good information. So it was
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. It gave me an aspect that I'm still walking around with goggles and stuff, and I did have a pistol on me. I could, if I started getting shot at, I was going to shoot back. I would
Yeah.
always get killed, which meant you got no information,
Yeah.
which pissed a couple people off. But I'm like, that was a fun aspect, and I really liked the idea behind that. That where you could go up to a player and say, they could say, "Oh, we have this. You got to go get this guy."
Yeah.
"Oh, this guy's a bad cop. Go kill him."
Yeah.
Or get his badge, or just go somewhere and find this special gun that we got. It's gold. It's worth lots of money. We'll give you like a thing for your nuke bomb or your chemical bomb.
Yeah.
That's what I want to
Something.
do. That's what
Yeah,
I want to see.
I think that stuff would be a blast. Like, it just, you really have to be, you need at least one or two people, like, on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't, you have to react before it happens. Like, you know, you just, you know, people got to see what's going on. If one team is killing the other team, you know, like, you got to make that decision quick.
That's why I think referees talking
Yes.
back and forth, it's important to check in with your refs that are covering an area, or they're covering a spawn, covering an objective. Did they get the objective? What'd they do? Did they get this? Did they get that? What's the point count? Things like that. You know, you need that communication and be able to talk across the field. That you're talking to a guy that's like out in the boondocks. You got to be able to talk to him, which means you have to have a radio that's going to do that.
Yeah.
And I think some places have that, some places don't. So
yeah, I know we got those radios.
So one of the other things I want to talk about is, and I think we touched on this once before, about how important, we're totally going to change the subject here.
Yeah.
How important it is for the type of gameplay classes in the game. Do you think an event should be semi-only? Do you think an event should be, okay, semi-only, but classes like LMGs can shoot full auto, SMGs can shoot full auto, things like that? Or do you think that an event would be more fun that everybody shot full auto?
I think it would be, I think it depends what kind of event it is. Like, if it's like story based, I don't think so. Because you wouldn't need that heavy gunner to do stuff. Like the events that we go to now, yeah, you're defending a place. Yeah, you need those heavy guns. But if you're doing specific missions, I think, granted, yeah, you probably toss in to defend the town or recapture, you know, a town or whatever. That's fine and all, but it depends what kind of scenarios you're running. Because we have a blast without any of those. And you still the result.
I saw more abuse of the LMGs and the SMGs. Now SMGs are supposed to be under 300 or under, and they could shoot full auto.
Yeah.
And no medium engagement distance. Like, yeah, okay, but they had a 35 rounds rate of fire, 35 rounds per second rate of fire, and I'm like, at a minimum engagement distance, getting hit with 35 BBs, even at 300 FPS, that would annoy the shit out of me. That's just me. And the LMGs had a 50-foot engagement distance, which most of them did not use. They were shooting you like 10 feet away, 5 feet away, full auto. So, like, and there was just seemed to be so many LMGs, and it was only supposed to be like one per
Yeah.
squad. And I counted like 7 on this one spot, and I'm like, you don't have 7 squads in here. How do you got 7 LMGs in here? Everybody had an
Yeah.
LMG shooting, and I'm like, how is that correct? I'm like, you don't have 7 squads in here. You got 7 LMGs though. But I'm like, So
Unless like you can do something where if you collect so many points, you can use an LMG for X amount of time. That is just we're talking we should have a ref at staging.
yeah, if you're giving out a like an objective gain, or however you want to say that, that they can shoot full auto now for this time, and the ref's there saying that's it, no more full auto. They've shot for 20 minutes full auto, probably wrecked the team that was trying to get to them, but now that's it. They can't shoot full auto no more.
Yeah.
That I like, but
that's hard. That's going to be hard to police, though.
Yes, it is, because like somebody start shooting again and say, "Oh, I didn't know the time limit was up," or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that it's kind of. So now I know there was one game I watched where you could go and get an emplacement weapon, but you had to capture the place with the emplacement weapon.
Yeah.
And you couldn't move it. So that location now had an emplacement weapon on the second floor, which was nasty because they could shoot down at people coming in toward them. And
it's like that. It's like the idea that I told you. Like you set it up with your 30 cal.
Yeah, and I'm like,
you're there, and you're like, well, you have until my mag is empty.
Yeah, and like they're shooting and they're just devastating these teams that are trying to come across this field at them to try to take this building again. Now they did eventually get in the building. And even, the guy had only 2 guys helping him out, guarding him. So they went through them like a dose of salt. They got them, and now they got the emplacement weapon.
Yeah.
So I like that, but then again, then it could be a nightmare.
Well, that's why if just say you were sitting there, that would be fine. You know what I mean? Like, because you have one person controlling it. And if you trust that person, they're not just going to sit there and lay on somebody for hours. Just going to, you know what I mean? Like, just because you don't need to hit people to keep them back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I noticed that at the one game, my 30 caliber that Rebel's talking about shoots 11 rounds per second. It's just intimidating sounding. Yet the guy on the other team had an actual 249 that was shooting in HBA, was shooting 35 rounds a second. And I'm like, all I heard was just like, and the friggin' BBs are flying all over the place. And I'm like, all you had to do is sit down and let him shoot until he ran out of BBs. And you could tell when he was changing his box mag out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all I had to do is just put a couple of BBs down. And I was getting people. I didn't need to shoot that fast. I'm like, yeah, okay. I had 2,500. Well, actually, I had 3,300 rounds. I have 3,300 rounds in my 30 caliber box. And you couldn't do any refills on the field. He had a 249, which means he could change out box mags.
Yeah.
So that was the only advantage that he had over me. And he had a couple of box mags, but he was shooting 35 rounds a second, so he was going through that box mag like nothing flat.
Yeah.
And I mean,
don't know how you got fun with that.
And it was funny because I would hear him shoot, and he would just be shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like he's hitting anybody and stopping and shooting at somebody else. It's just like he's covering an area just back and forth. I said, that don't sound like he's actually using it the way it's supposed to be, but
No. Because I know one time you took your 30 to EMR, and you were like, you were keeping me down. And it was like, you gotta take him out. I'm like, I'm trying. and you weren't laying into me. You were like bursting. Like 3 or 4 at a time. And I'm like,
And see, the thing of it is that's how I always envision a support weapon. Yeah. You're not trying to mow down a bunch of people. You're trying to keep a bunch of people with their heads down so your guys can move up or get in better positions. You're suppressing fire.
Suppressing them. That's all you're doing. But, yeah.
So I said, I think we touched on quite a few things here. We've been yakking for quite a while here.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think the main thing that we're getting across there is about the airsoft fields going away, the type of players going away, things like that, the events, things like that. I think we touched on we bitched enough for the day, I think.
Yeah. Well, I just want to have one more thing about the airsoft fields. So let's just say if they do start charging, like that, you have to buy their BBs.
Yeah.
I don't think people will have a problem if it was good gameplay. If it was a lot of objective based games, I don't think anybody will have a problem with it.
Yep.
But if it's just team deathmatch over and over, it's just not going to be fun.
But like you said, if you have some elitist BB snobs, like we have a couple on our team,
Yeah.
Chip, he only uses one type of BB, even though I proved to him that other BBs shoot just as good.
Well, he's switching over to blue bag, so he is changing.
Yep.
But yeah, again, it's just I think some fields got to have more options though than just team deathmatch.
Yes.
And like with us, we proved that minimal stuff you can do stuff.
I hope that people are going to have fun in October when they come out to our event. We got a lot of people saying that they're coming out that weren't out there last time.
Hopefully the weather holds out.
Yeah, that's the big thing in October. That could be anywhere from cool weather to rain. I don't think snow. I think it's a little too early for snow because it's the first part of October. But you never know. Although we could have 90-degree weather in October. We've had 70, 80 degrees. So yeah. I'm just hoping. Like now it's September, we had 40-degree weather in the morning. It's about 59 now. I looked at it, but who knows? Next week it could be 80. And we could be, out here at the field and it'd be like 80 degrees. We're running around sweating our asses off. So
yeah,
I'm hoping we're gonna have a good time, good turnout, and everybody will have a good time with the stuff that we got planned. And I hope you guys follow that we're going to have some more gameplay stuff pushed up. I actually put a couple things out that'll be coming out soon. So hopefully have a good time. And we'll get more stuff for Rebel Sniping. That's who's sniping all the time. In case anybody's following the channel, that's the guy that's sniping all the time. I'm not sniping. He's sniping.
Somebody's got to do it.
So this has been Keeper and
Rebel.
Really appreciate you watching the video. And as always, you guys have a good day.
Stay safe out there.
I like it!
I'm just here to have fun.